One of the most important products for sportsbooks targeting UK and Irish customers is their horse racing product. And this is not just from a UX and market perspective, but also from a technical SEO perspective. There's a lot of benefit to improving the technical SEO of your horse racing pages if you're not optimized already. So we're going to look at the common issues that many platforms and sportsbooks have when it comes down to their horse racing product and offer some solutions and a pathway to improve these and to ultimately get more horse racing focused customers from organic search. So the common issues. Firstly, non-SEO friendly URLs. These are numbers. These are like different GUID style URLs. So mostly sort of race cards and races have these. And it's not ideal for SEO. You want a very clear match with the keyword you're looking to target and the URL that you are looking to rank. Missing SEO tags and on-page content is another huge issue. That might be that the platform doesn't allow you to create custom SEO tags and on-page content after you drill down to a certain level of the website. This is not good for SEO, and again, you need to look at options to fix that. A major issue is temporary URLs. These are typically for individual races and individual meetings, and also race courses in some cases. So many platforms generate temporary URLs, and these are not great for SEO because they don't hang around long enough for Google to index and rank them on SERPs. And also they're not around long enough for you to optimize those URLs over a period of time. Client-side rendering issues is another huge problem. This is basically when sportsbooks are built on React frameworks like that, JavaScript frameworks. And this causes issues because what Google does is it crawls a page. It then, after it crawls a page, when it's JavaScript, it must take another step to render the page. And then at that point, it can index the page. But again, this uses up more resources. It's not ideal. And on top of that, which is becoming more and more an issue, is Google's Core Web Vitals. So on client-side rendered pages, typically the Core Web Vitals can't really be improved without a dramatic overhaul of how the site is set up. So we would always recommend looking at ways to render the page server side, and we'll get into some options as we go through the presentation. So page hierarchy is very important. What we want is more evergreen pages that are dynamically updated. So moving away from dynamically creating pages to dynamically updating pages across race meetings, race courses, and also individual races at some point, particularly around big events, and particularly if they're consistent year on year in terms of who sponsors them, what are they going to be called, are you going to change the name when the sponsorship changes, and so on. So there's ways you can look at that. However, you can set up evergreen pages for your top level horse racing page and sub pages for race courses, horses, and so on. Interestingly enough, many bookmakers don't focus enough on horse names and trying to get some SEO traffic from that, including including the form, so on, about certain horses. And that's, again, an option to look at. But we would recommend trying to get these lit pages evergreen. Now, in respect to dynamically generated pages that sit below that, so for instance, race meetings, race festivals, individual races themselves, create vanity URLs that have content on them constantly that then get dynamically updated. Doing this will dramatically change your rankings across many um, lower tier or lower level pages, but also it should be a key component in your marketing strategy for the likes of Cheltenham, Royal Ascot, and other major festivals across the year. Another area that you can benefit from is implementing structured data for sports event. Again, this could help you in terms of your generic horse racing page. Get some listings underneath with the most updated race meetings and races lined up so that they potentially can appear within Google search itself. The idea would be to increase the real estate of your horse racing listings. And this can go, again, not only for the top level page, but throughout. So having structured data is very important. But what you need for that is a way to make sure that your feed that you can take and dynamically create your structured data must be set up in a way that is conducive to SEO. And it must be set up in a way where you can grab the relevant information and present it in a schema.org structured data format. So we touched on the client-side rendering issue. This is common across many sportsbooks and is probably the one area that you will see maybe a bigger return on investment when it comes down to customer acquisition and ultimately revenue if you can resolve this. So there's typically three approaches. One, used next.js. This is a framework that offers server-side rendering. However, the issue with sportsbooks is when you render server-side, there's a lot of pressure on the servers, particularly at peak times. So many technical teams may not want to look at this. Another approach would be to implement Edge SEO. Again, your CDNs will have various ways that this can be implemented. And a benefit of this, if you're using a platform that you've no control of, when you look at Edge SEO and Edge computing, you can edit the HTML and add SEO components on the CDN level. And this is particularly relevant if you're an international operator and want to target multiple jurisdictions. You can customize, you can do a lot of SEO stuff within that. Again, if you're going to do that, just remember your href land tags and make sure that you're doing it on localized pages. Another approach that is probably the most implementable across all sportsbooks is build a static content horse racing site. So basically you handle the evergreen pages that are rendered server side for logged out users, and you can balance that with what you want logged in users to see. However, by rendering or by building these static pages, essentially using a CMS, you can pull in odds feeds, you can make the content more appealing to search engines, and again, you can add content where you may not be able to add content on your platform. So that is an option, particularly if you're working with white labels. There is a way to essentially build your SEO facing site and then send traffic that log in to your functional site where they can actually place bets. You can also integrate bet slip on this static site as well. So they're the three key areas and the three key approaches that you can take to try and avoid the client-side rendering issues that are going to become more and more issues and problems for sportsbooks. Again, primarily down to Google Core Web Vitals and the importance of that score possibly getting more weighting by Google in terms of the search engine ranking positions. So now is the time to invest. It's pretty clear what should be done. Now, each sportsbook has its own setup and its own process, but The amount of sports books that are focused on UK and Irish customers that have not got up to scratch on their technical SEO for their horse racing product, it opens up some opportunities. And essentially, what it does is it helps you acquire solid, good quality customers, in some cases, higher value customers who will bet frequently if you put in the time to build out proper SEO for horse racing. So if you have any questions, again, just reach out to us, visit our website 10107.com and contact us through a contact form there.